Greetings, groovy people! This is the self-proclaimed Blue Dragon, and I welcome you to this Wednesday's time-lapse video, where I will be focusing on my free webcomic, Dark Horse. This week's title is Darkness Visible. I lifted that from a Milton poem. Milton, if you're unfamiliar with him, which I doubt you are unfamiliar, but he's the one who wrote Paradise Lost, among many other stories, many other books and poems. He started his life with vision, and later in his years, in his older years, he started to go blind, or actually I think he went blind, and he had to start dictating his works to someone to write it down for him. And the reason why I chose that quote is because this week's topic is the faerie Seer Kahnma, who also started her life with vision, but once her powers start blossoming, she loses her vision. And that would happen when she's about 17 years old. Her birth name was Victoria Lavanya Bakshi. I apologize to any East Indian visitors out there listening to me butcher these names. I apologize. I butcher my own language. Tell me how to pronounce it if I'm doing it wrong, and I am happy to learn from my mistakes. The reason why she's named that is because she's half human and she's half fairy. Once every century, there is a strange phenomenon which occurs to the fairy veil. It weakens. It's only one day out of the year this happens every 100 years, and fairies, the veil went up in the 1600s, so fairies have had some time to kind of, realize this happens. What has happened is the fairy world has been moved into an intra-dimensional pocket. There are only so many resources there, so once they figured out that the veil weekends every century, they use this day as a huge celebration, as a way to come back to the natural world and pick up any new resources. They have celebrations in the evenings, they have bazaars, they have festivals, sometimes you'll see fairy hordes. This is the one time every 100 years that fairies can go to the human world, and in some cases humans might accidentally stumble into the fairy realm. That would be a case of someone getting spirited away, because if you don't get the heck out of there before the end of the night, you're stuck in the fairy world and you're never getting back, because you will not live 100 years. But anyway, so it's the year 1818, and there are only certain parts of the world. It's not like the whole veil weekends, it's just certain locations in various parts. So there's one in England, there's one in Japan, and I don't know where else. There is one because I haven't gotten that far in writing it, so I may think of some other places later on, but not right now. So Seer is Kahnma's mother, and she is a high-ranking fairy, at least within this specific culture. And she was chosen to go out on this night and get specific resources. Now, Kahnma's father is a British Indian man. He had found a way to rise within the East India Company. Very controversial. He was trying to do what was best for his family in spite of the horrible things that company did to his own people. It's a complicated subject, so I'm just laying down the groundwork for who this person was. Now, he and his wife, they could not have children. They don't know why, because it's like 1818 and they don't really know much about it, but I will tell you, as the author, she was the one who could not get pregnant. But, he had always wanted a son to carry on the family name. He probably would have been happy with a daughter also. Guess what he's gonna get? He's gonna get a daughter. Not what he thinks, but he's on business and he is in England. And something calls to him, which happens with some people. They're a little more attuned to the magical world than others, and he somehow finds his way to where these fairies have set up their day-long celebration, and he meets Lier there, and somehow he knows, just looking around, he's gonna see that there's all kinds of magic and magical creatures going on. So he knows that there might be a way for her to help him, and she wants him to help her. So they actually strike up a deal. She promises to him, and I don't have a name for Kahnma's father yet, so if anyone has any good Indian names that might work well for a businessman, please leave those in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to get off my butt and actually do some research. I'll do the research. Anyway, they strike up a deal. If he gets her what she wants before 3 a.m., because I say it's one day, but it's not like a day, it doesn't like start at like midnight. This phenomenon happens at different times, and it lasts for a specific period of time, but it's not necessarily midnight by our clock. 3 a.m. is when he needs to get what she wants, and if he does that, then she will, through fairy magic, produce a changeling of a sort. Not an actual changeling, because she's not taking any children, but she will sleep with him. She will perform Word of Wednesday coitus with him, and then she will transfer that child to his wife, so that his wife will be none the wiser of what has transpired. And of course, he doesn't want to cheat on his wife. This specific character has converted to Christianity, but at the same time, they desperately want a child, and so, being foolish and desperate, he decides he's gonna strike this deal with Lier, and so it comes to pass. So they do their thing, he gets whatever she wants to her, and then life goes on. His wife is instantly pregnant that night. He has a beautiful baby girl. He's happy with her, even though he wanted a son. He has absolutely nothing wrong with Victoria, as they name her. Kahnma is what her mother secretly names her, but they don't always live in England. He's British Indian, but he was only visiting England. He actually lives in India, and so she's raised there, so she has a lot more rights than probably a lot of the other people of the time period, especially since he was fairly high ranking within the company, as high as, he could have gotten. At the age of 17, her powers, she loses her vision, and oh boy, the changeling stuff, they look human for so many years, but that magic drops, and yeah, she looks like a fairy when she hits 17, so she realizes that she is not going to be able to live among the humans, and it was very hard for her, but she will actually leave her family. They loved her, in spite of her dad eventually had to say what the heck happened. But her mother forgave him, and her mother still loved her daughter, but Kahnma knew she could not live with them, and so she spent her early years actually away from humans. And it's not going to be until 100 years later, in 1918, when she's actually able to go into the fairy veil. Her mother comes for her. Her mother foresaw this happening, because fairies are, they live a lot longer. Some of them are immortal, but her mother foresaw this happening, and so she knew eventually she would be able to see her daughter. The problem is, being a fairy seer, both the Seelie court and the Unseelie court want her. And so her mother basically brings her to the Seelie court to be trained to keep her safe from the Unseelie court, which still exists even though they lost the war. The fairies didn't just kill them all. And so she spends the rest of her life there until Kahnma is until Kahnma awakens in our present day 2000 something. And then Kahnma will have, she has the fairy veil broken down, and she has one of her servants kidnap Kahnma, and that's how she gets Kahnma in her court. That's why Kahnma is a captive. So that's all I really have time to talk about. Gosh, there's probably more. There's more I could talk about, and boy, I feel bad not having a name for Kahnma's father. The question of the week: what's your favorite fairy tale? Please like the video if you liked it, subscribe please, do the bell thing. I need to never sing, but I want to think of Saved by the Bell. Thank you for joining me. Peace and love, fare you well, and keep on trucking. Please excuse the editing with century and 100 years. I made an oopsie and said millennia and 1,000 years instead of 100 years, which is what I meant. It was late when I recorded. Sorry about that, you guys. Keep on trucking.